Welcome to Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl, the podcast where I blend life, love, sex, and relationships with mental health, social issues, and history, all from my very unabashed perspective. Join me, Joe Ciceron, as we unravel the power of vulnerability, celebrate storytelling, our history, and connect with incredible individuals who have tales to share. Let's dive deep into our essence and the narratives that mold us, because in this space, we believe in the magic of authenticity and the beauty of being unapologetically you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl. I'm your host, Joe, and I am really happy to be back here with you. It has been a long little hiatus for me, and I took this time off because it was definitely important for me to really focus in on my mental health and really just take some time for me and my family. And so now that we are back and it is the holiday seasons, I know that a lot of you are probably just as stressed out as I am, especially moms out there. I can totally relate because I am trying to be Santa Claus right now for my kiddos, and it has been such a tough process. But as a lot of you have known who have been following me over the last couple of years, especially this last year specifically, you know that I have gone through quite a bit with losing my mom and just experiencing a lot of grief and loss. And just throughout that process, it really made me realize just how important it is to really take time for myself and to focus on the things that really make me happy. And when I realized that I am no longer having fun, or something that I love to do is becoming a struggle, I think that's when I realized that I need to detach and I need to take time for myself. So with that being said, I think we just have the perfect guest for the closing and last show for 2024. And I am so excited to introduce you to Dr. Kojo Sarfo, who is an amazing psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, an author, and a TikTok sensation with over 2 million followers. Dr. Kojo Sarfo uses humor, insight, and personal experience to make mental health relatable and impactful, especially for the neurodivergent community. He's also the author of You Already Won, a guide to overcoming challenges. Dr. Kojo's mission is simple but powerful: to help people feel seen and supported. Let's welcome the brilliant and game-changing Dr. Kojo Sarfo. Yay! Sound effects, sound effects.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. I am really, really glad that we are getting to connect, and this is really exciting because it is just that time of the year where everyone is really just shuffling around, and I think it's really important to hear from somebody like you, especially people within the neurodivergent community. And I have been advocating and speaking about neurodivergence on this platform since the very beginning. I am a mother of 2 children who are on the spectrum. My husband's also on the spectrum. I myself am neurodivergent, ADHD, and other mental health illnesses, which I've been very open about on this platform. And I always encourage people to really lean into being vulnerable and talking about these things, because I think it's so essential to remove the stigma and to really normalize being open about these things that we go through, and these things that a lot of people that we know, our neighbors, our friends, our family members, are experiencing on an everyday basis. And not just neurodivergent experiences, but mental health issues in general. And I think that everybody deals with mental health on some level. So you are very well known, Dr. Kojo, for just your relatable, funny mental health content. What inspired you to start sharing your journey online?
I would say my experiences as a neurodivergent individual, especially as a an African kid growing up in the South, and being in so many different environments. I was born in Ghana, then our family moved to Norway, and then we moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and getting to see different people, different environments, getting to experience the struggle and poverty, and also sometimes parents not understanding you, not having insurance to go get checked out, and just being the only kid in class to finish his assignments late. You see other kids go to the nurse's office and come back after taking the medications, and just feeling like something is, knowing that something wasn't all the way there. Something's going on, but you couldn't quite put a finger on it. And then finally getting diagnosed with ADHD at 26, and that being my light bulb moment. And once things started to, come into focus for me, and that aha moment came to me, finding ways to creatively express that online has led me to my community, people who have gone through similar things that I've gone through, people who care about the same things that I care about.
That's good. So you mentioned that you're from Ghana. Talk to me about how did your cultural upbringing affect your decision to go into mental health, as well as your own personal mental health journey?
So I'm from Ghana, small country in West Africa, and we're very big on community. The community's needs are more important than the needs of the individual, which can be a double-edged sword. But everything is, family, community, bringing people together. And as I've, been on my online journey, that's been a big emphasis of what I've attempted to do. And that's not only helped out a lot of people, I believe, but also has been a great benefit to my personal mental health. At the same time, coming from, an African background, taking risks is not really, I think that's, at least for me, it wasn't really encouraged. Just kind of take the safe path and, take care of yourself. And it comes from a good place, parents, living in poverty and just wanting their kids to do well.
Yeah, they want you to go for the doctor, the lawyer, the engineer. Yeah. The engineer if you're feeling spicy.
Right. The same thing, because they want the kids to be self-sufficient. And I would say I did that in a sense, and I'm still doing it and I enjoy it, but taking a chance on me and putting myself out there to find people who have gone through the similar things. It's been a huge risk and something that I never thought that I was primed to do based off of my upbringing, but it's made a world of difference for me.
That's awesome. Can you share a moment from your childhood or your upbringing when you realized that you yourself were neurodivergent?
So I always talk about this baseball game between the Braves and the Nationals where our first baseman made an error, and that error cost us the game. And after the game, he talked to the reporters and he said that he had ADHD. He had been struggling with it his whole life, college, childhood, and all the symptoms that he described. It felt like he was talking about my life story, turning assignments in late, making careless mistakes, being the last one to, get a certain thing done, always being a bit slower than the other kids. And at that point, it confirmed my suspicions that I had ADHD. I didn't feel like it was appropriate to ask my parents to take me to the doctor because I can't focus. We had no insurance. So I just kind of thugged it out. And when I became an adult and I had a chance to get assessed, I did so, and it changed my life.
What's a fun fact that your followers don't know about you?
A fun fact that my followers don't know about me. Try to give you a good one. Even though I've been posting clips, a lot of my followers don't know that I do stand-up comedy. So that's one. And I have 2 shows in Oakland, New Year's Eve, and also I moved to California with a bunch of close friends, other guys and girls who had large social media followings, and we did a content house in 2021 that lasted for about 3 months. It was such a transient thing that people either forgot about it or they know that happened, but we tried and it didn't work.
Talk to me about your stand-up comedy journey. What inspired that?
Oh, honestly, my love for stand-up has been something that it's always been there. In my lowest moments, I've always had comedy And then after that content house didn't work, I moved to LA because we were in Irvine. So we're in Orange County, like maybe an hour south of LA. Then I moved to North Hollywood by myself. And then my apartment was right behind this comedy club called the Comedy Chateau. So I would walk there multiple times a week, and they had free tickets. So I would just go watch the comics, and some of the comics were like, "Hey, like I've seen some of your content. Like you should try an open mic." And I never thought that it was something for me, but I tried it, and it helped to give me a sense of direction and purpose. Because with ADHD, you don't want too much free time. Too much free time is the worst. You get bored, you're going to self-destruct. So comedy helped to give me direction. And it was also one of the things that helped me stop smoking marijuana as much and like really go on tea breaks and really give it up. Because with too much free time, I just, like after I'm done with videos or with patients, I'm just sitting there having nothing to do. So allow myself to embark on this comedy journey has helped me follow a routine. So it's been very instrumental for me.
That's good. You've helped so many people feel seen through your mental health advocacy. What's been the most rewarding part of this journey for you?
The most rewarding part has definitely been the comments from people when they tell me that my videos have impacted their lives, and that because of my videos, they've received a diagnosis, which has allowed them to receive the right treatment. And now the quality of life has improved significantly. And it still trips me every time because these are people that are living in Australia, Iowa, Nebraska, Brazil, Germany. I'll probably never meet the majority of these people, but because of something that they saw online that I posted, they were able to go get life-changing help. And it makes you a part of their story. They'll never forget you. So that's a really cool thing for me.
That's awesome. That's cool. What misconceptions about neurodivergence do you wish people understood more?
I wish people understood that neurodivergence is not just, like a personality trait or a quirk or something cute that, we talk about online for views. They get views because they're relatable things, but it's something that you pay a significant price for every single day. The ADHD tax, I experienced that as somebody who has ADHD, forgetting things, losing things, missing flights, having to buy the same thing over and over, being clumsy and getting hurt, urgent care, messing up your clothes, just being clumsy. The ADHD way is going to cost you in more ways than one, emotionally as well, with interpersonal relationships, being impulsive. Like it costs you in so many different ways. It could never be something that we would choose to put on ourselves if we had the choice.
Yeah. I like that you said that because as a mom and someone who is also neurodivergent, I think that it's frustrating a lot of times to see and hear how often people downplay the experience and what we're going through as just individuals and the struggles. I think also by it becoming so saturated and so many wide misconceptions about it, and it being vastly misrepresented a lot of times in media and on TV. And I think that also makes it very difficult for those who are experiencing all these things and difficulties in real life to advocate for themselves. It makes it harder because you're dealing with people out there who aren't taking it as seriously because of what they believe you're dealing with or what their idea or limited knowledge of what is a necessity for you, especially when it comes to accommodations and things like that, whether that is for schooling or through your job professionally. I think that is incredibly frustrating to have to navigate those systems. And that is something that you are doing as a neurodivergent person all the time. Now, talk about being Black and neurodivergent. And that's a whole nother ballpark where you're constantly on the soapbox of having to be your own personal lawyer
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating. And yeah, while I love my kids, I love my family, I love myself, it took me a really long time to get to this place I am, to be self-accepting. I also could do what without some of the mini quirks and cutesy things. I would love to not lose a million things or go to the store and forget and buy 15 of the same items. And like again, it might seem like quirks, but when it affects other things or it becomes
Yeah.
bigger and more serious ways, it's not so cute.
And not at all, because we pay a heavy price for being how we actually are.
Right. Absolutely. How do you recommend that people who are neurodivergent manage their stress around the holiday season?
I think it's important to understand first and foremost that you don't have to do it all. Sometimes we put all these tasks, on our to-do list. We take pride in being last-minute warriors. We want to be Superman or Superwoman, and we feel like we can get anything done just because we're used to procrastinating, and then at the last second throwing something together and it works out. So wanting to be a last-minute warrior, we don't have to do any of that. And of course, the later you do things, the more expensive it is, especially around Christmas. They jack everything up because we forgot to plan and get this and get that. So now they're going to make money off of you. So this is a very, it's a crucial period for the neurodivergence. Just doing what you can, using pattern recognition to position yourself for success. So if you know that you have an in-law or a parent who they say certain things around the holidays and they trigger you, still hang out with them, still show up for the family photo if you choose to, but limit the time that you spend with them. Avoid certain conversations. If you know that you don't want to talk about the fact that you're not married, when that conversation is happening, just say, I don't want to be a part of this conversation, respectfully, and let them talk about you, but you get up and you leave if you don't want to talk about politics, or if you don't want to hear opinions about how you're raising your kids and your family. They feel like, no, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Just leave and say, oh, all right, cool. Like, we had Christmas and we're coming for just Christmas, a couple of hours, and then we have to go see other family members. Just finding a nice way to position yourself for not having so much stress. And it's going to come with people offering their opinions, and that might make you feel a way. But this is a version of standing up for yourself, and it's a good way to head into 2025 by practicing boundaries.
Absolutely. I think that's really great advice. What do you think is the most overlooked aspect of mental health in the Black community?
The most overlooked aspect of mental health, I think we downplay how important the basics are. Getting proper nutrition, getting enough sleep, having a good diet, being mindful of the things that you put into your body, whether that's food or whether it's what you watch or whether it's who you hang around. And in the Black community, I think it's just so much of like, oh, like, yeah, I'm not worried about that. Just being laid back or hanging out with whoever. Like, yeah, it was my homeboy. Yeah, I know them. You can't, like, at a certain age, you can't just hang out with anybody. Like, you have things to lose. You have like a goal, a target of where you want to be. And the mindset is so important. And that's what therapy is aimed at changing. Therapy, CBT, DBT, to change how you look at things. So in the Black community, we allow ourselves to stay in toxic environments and toxic relationships and be around things and people and places that are not good for us. And we think that, we'll just, we'll thug it out, or that doesn't look right, we'll pray it out. But not having the basics in order and not prioritizing mental health and also medications. We make it a binary thing. Oh, it's either your pastor or your doctor. Like, why can't you have a pastor and a doctor? Like, that's probably the formula for most people. Like, you got your spiritual family, then you got your medical family. You don't take that seriously enough.
I do think that makes a lot of sense, especially being raised in a very religious household. Like, I think that we make we put so much emphasis on that and making it seem like we just can shake it off somehow and just pray it away. And or if you're somehow lacking or seeking anything else or needing anything else, then it's your fault that you are not strong in your faith enough, or and I think that that is incredibly damaging mentally to a lot of people who
Yeah.
hear that so often, because it's always like, oh, you just need to go to church, you just you haven't, what I mean, and that's really difficult, I think, for a lot
Yeah.
of people. So what advice would you give to someone who feels overwhelmed and lonely or stuck as the year is ending?
I would say if you feel overwhelmed, lean into sustainability as opposed to productivity. This is something that I struggle with because I get overwhelmed all the time. Like I want to add things to my plate. I'm like, I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. So assessing your patterns and checking in with your body and asking, how do I feel? Am I tired? And do I feel like I'm well rested? Am I doing the basics? Am I sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day, or a minimum six? I'll give you 6 to 8 hours a day. Am I eating enough throughout the day? Am I taking care of myself? Am I moving my body a little bit? And work towards finding something that's sustainable instead of these big short-term bursts of productivity, which only met with burnout, and you crash and you get depressed and all that. And then you come back out a couple of months when you've rested and you feel, oh, I'm good now. But look for a sustainable type of workflow. And in regards to loneliness, I think we should just normalize it more, because loneliness is not something that's exclusive to people who are single. You can be in a relationship and be lonely. You can be surrounded by all the people that you love, kids, family, and you still feel lonely. So loneliness is a symptom of you're not connecting enough with the things in your environment and the people that are in your environment. And you might be connected, but you're not getting what you need.
Yeah.
Like you still feel empty in some regards. So I think it's important to talk about loneliness from all aspects, whether you're lonely as in single, lonely as and you live by yourself, or lonely around people that know you, but for some reason you just can't connect. Because like I experience loneliness often,
Yeah.
and sometimes I look at it as an opportunity to sit in the solitude and to, organize my thoughts and figure out what I really want. So I try and take the advantages from it, and then I look for ways to connect with the people around me, and my environment, so I can fill my soul back up.
Reflecting on this past year, what has been the biggest lesson or takeaway for you?
Oh, oh my goodness! The biggest lesson for this year, it's been, can't take everybody with you, and it's okay to grieve people who are still alive. I've had to learn that lesson in many different ways this year. It's like I keep. It's like I don't learn my lessons. I have to learn it again in different ways. But it's okay to not take everybody with you, and to not have to explain yourself all the time, and understand that if you want certain things, it's going to come at a cost. You have to sacrifice, and
Yep.
there's going to be people who don't agree with what you're doing, or people who are envious, or people who just don't want to be around you because you're trying your best to return to yourself and be authentic. And that authenticity is going to irritate their demons, and it's going to irritate their lack of authenticity, and the mask that they're wearing, or the person that they're appearing to be. So even if you have the best intentions for certain people, I've learned that it's okay to pray and support people from a distance, but you don't have to take everybody along with you on your journey. And a lot of times when you're doing that, it's a sign that you're, at least for me, that you're trying to avoid some type of work by trying to fix other people's problems.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, speaking of being authentic, I mean, you've built a platform that's both informative and entertaining. What's the secret to staying authentic while being in the public eye?
to check in with yourself frequently, and you have to make intentional efforts to be yourself. It's very hard to be yourself the older you get, especially when you're in the public eye. Because I'm thinking about sponsorships and companies that I work with, and it was very difficult at one point where I felt like I had to suppress parts of myself to continue working with these big companies. So it became an issue of, okay, all right, I can be myself and risk losing, a lot of money, or I can, give them curated versions of who I am, just so that I can, play the song and dance, and I can keep, working with certain people. And that's not sustainable at all. It leads to anxiety, it leads to frustration, and it's been a great source of pain and stress for me. So working to just be myself and be honest, and just returning back to myself has helped to refuel my soul. And what keeps me going in that aspect is the people. It's always been the people. When I'm on the live stream talking to my people, or if I post a certain video and I look at the comments, seeing that people can relate to the human experience, it validates me as a human and everything that I'm going through. And that right there, that feeling, I wish I could take that feeling and put it into a pill and sell it, because it feels so good to be accepted for who you are, especially when you spend so long putting out other versions of yourself.
Yeah. If you could go back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
If I could go back and give my younger self advice, what would it be? I would say, figure out what you want and be intentional about it. And that once you put intention behind things, things normally work. Number one, I would say trust in your vision, with more confidence, instead of waiting for people to validate what you're, what you want and what you're going through, because that'll help you move with speed. I would say, don't be so focused on women, and just focus on what you want and your purpose. And I'm grateful that I've been able to find my purpose. Also, save money. Save money. Start learning how to save money. Say no more, especially with family and with friends. Just get better at setting boundaries, and just really be mindful of the people that you're around. Because a lot of the things that kind of got me in trouble, they weren't like original Kojo ideas. It was more so me being in, the wrong environment, or being around people who didn't have anything to lose, and then me being naturally curious. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So just being more mindful of the company that I keep. I would definitely tell my younger self that.
What's a personal or professional goal you're excited for this coming year?
A personal goal that I'm excited for, and a professional. So a personal goal that I'm excited for is looking to do a half-hour comedy special in July of next year. So I give myself, thank you very much. Give myself 6 months to put together 30 minutes, and then throw some sketches in there and put that on YouTube, and all platforms, of course. And a professional goal is to build out my private practice, because I have all these state licenses and all these different states, and I never really used it. But my mom was like, "Keep it up, renew it." So to build up my private practice, and be able to help people that way, and that will allow me to be fully mobile. Because with the social media side of things, I can do what I'm doing in LA from Singapore.
Yeah.
But to get a system in place to where I can be fully mobile and remote, that will allow me to not only travel for comedy, but to just be more flexible, spend time with my parents if I want to, or go on vacation, which I've been going on vacation truly like maybe 7 years.
I feel you.
So maybe allow me to go on vacation, but even then I might still try and find ways out of the vacation, because I don't like to sit still. But yeah, those are some personal and professional goals I have.
Who or what keeps you inspired on the days when you feel like giving up?
My parents, my faith in God, my siblings, just people who sacrificed to give me an opportunity, because that's what I was desperately craving for. Especially as a high school student who had failing grades and I got rejected from a lot of colleges. I just needed an opportunity, and I knew that I was smart and talented. And I knew I had some limitations and not being the most organized, but I just needed an opportunity. My parents gave me that, so just wanted to repay them and wanted to make them proud. Is that pushes me every day.
For those who've been struggling with mental health this year, what's one piece of advice or encouragement you want to leave them with?
Keep going, and to look for things that keep that window of hope open. Even if it's something ridiculous, like, maybe you have to watch some funny videos next week with a friend, or you have soccer practice in a couple of weeks, or you have guitar practice tomorrow, or even if you had like a thought of like calling it quits, but like, you were gonna take your life, but then you tripped over your shoe and you laughed. Like, look for any reason to give you hope, to stay curious about being here, because if you're curious, somebody who's curious about certain things, they're gonna pause to see what's on the other side of that curiosity. So even when you feel like you're losing hope and like you don't have like a reason, to lean into curiosity. There's so many things that, especially as neurodivergent people, so many random interests that we have and things that will take our focus when we should be working on other things. But lean into some type of curiosity. Give yourself some type of a reason to stay, or just give yourself more time to think about it. Because at your lowest, positive thoughts don't register. It's all negative thoughts, and you're looking for more negative thoughts. So to be kind to yourself and just give yourself some more time, and understand that the longer you stick around, something is going to get your interest, and you'll find reasons as to why a lot of people love and care about you.
Awesome. How can listeners continue to connect with you or find resources to support their mental health journey?
So for resources, I always direct people to mentalhealthamerica.org. They're a nonprofit that we've been affiliated with for the past 7 years. And I'm also on the board of directors of the Flawless Foundation, which is a nonprofit that I met at Mental Health America in Washington, D.C. And then to keep up with me, I would say my Instagram page is kind of like, the home. Like, you meet people in real life, and, the IG page is like the new number, and then you click the link in the bio and they can find everything. But my IG page is, Instagram.com/Dr. Kojo Sarfo. And also my Facebook page. That's our fastest growing platform right now. Facebook has been that way for the past year and a half. So I'm excited about what we're building on Facebook. And of course, the other socials, TikTok for sure, because that's the OG. That's where everything started. And I know, in the news, there's uncertainty surrounding TikTok. But as of right now, it's still here. So I'm planning for it to be here until I'm told otherwise. TikTok is a great place to find me and my content. And then YouTube as well. And also, we're on Snapchat too.
Awesome. Well, my very last question for you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now?
On a scale of 1 to 10, right now, the first number that came to my mind is 7, but I don't think, I try to avoid 7 because it's like, shouldn't say 7. I would say 9, but then yesterday I was at like a 6, so like it vacillates. But as of right now, 9. And this is the happiest I've been all week. I think the fact that the sun is shining on me has a lot to do with it. Because the sunlight, we really haven't had that. And my mood's been a little low. But today, I'm doing this podcast and there's sun shining on me and my dog is here. And, I watched some football today. So I feel good. I feel good today, 9.
Awesome. I'm just really glad that we got to have this conversation, and it was really great speaking to you and having you here. You're just so knowledgeable and very easy to talk to. Thank you again so much for being here. This has been another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me with Dr. Kojo Sarfo. And until next year, bye.
Take care, y'all.